Shot in September, 3 of them out of the 10. You know
which
what?
is
That's
fairly.
pretty. Well, if you consider that you only have 2 weeks in September, you're hunting too, right? I mean, your guys is
Mhm.
whereas all the other months you
Two to
have
three,
full.
depending on how the month works. 2 to 3.
Okay, okay. So you got less time, and you've killed a lot of them in September. Wonder how many of those was like the first week, Dan. Do you remember off the top of your head?
Uh, I'm going to say probably all 3.
Yeah,
I would have to
yeah,
go look to be sure, but I would say it's probably all 3 were the first week of the when you're talking top 10.
yep,
But when you take a look at that October number, look at the
yep.
November number.
Right,
I mean, when you look at the September number, I mean, look at the November number, which is when everybody thinks you're supposed to be out looking for those big bucks.
right, right. Yep. Well, the thing is like there's a significant number of hunters that don't even pay attention to September and October.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of people around here that's like they're like I'm not even going to think about deer hunting until I go
Correct.
until November 1st. Um,
And if you put my last buck in, that's not in this because this is done in 2018.
yeah,
Actually, yeah, my last one would be the only one that would be included. The one before that
right,
wasn't enough, but
yeah,
that would change the odds again because that would again be the first sit, or no, it wouldn't. It'd be the first sit that year, but it
yeah,
would be September,
yep,
and opening week, you know,
hmm yep,
within 100 yards.
yep, yep. Um, so yeah, yeah, you shot 4 in October and 3 of them is in November. Uh
And for me, if you know the territory,
huh.
if you're a rut hunter, which I think most guys probably aren't like me with early season. I think they I don't want to say it to belittle anybody, but probably don't have the skill there because it takes a lot of work to get down being good at September hunting. But
Yep.
they're mainly rut hunters. I think for rut, I kind of like October better than November if you know the
Yeah.
area. And the reason I say that is November. The reason so many people kill so many big bucks in November is because they just get lucky. Deer running around like crazy. But if you know what you're doing, a deer on a pattern is a better deer to hunt. So what I mean by that is those bucks in October when it's coming up on the rut, they're
Yeah.
starting to rut. They're starting to move earlier. They're starting to, get aggressive,
Hmm.
and they'll rub trees and they'll mark trails, and you can be able to see where they're coming in and out of bedding areas, glowing across the woods. Makes it a little easier to hunt them.
Yeah.
You just do some footwork and you find them, hunt them, and kill them. Where in November, you can be on hot sign, that buck could be 10 miles from you. You know what I mean? They're not
Right.
on that repetitive pattern.
Right. Um, I think the way you worded it is probably better, like a better way of wording the early September or the September success. Getting good at that is like it just takes a lot more prep work to kill one that time of year. Like you gotta,
It does.
you gotta be
That's
good at
something
scouting. You gotta put time into scouting and all that.
I think we'll get into. I think it's in there. Not positive, but we'll get into that. I was hunting the actual buck that I killed,
Yeah, we got that.
and
It's in
in
here.
September, every one of them, I knew that buck existed, and I was hunting that deer.
Yep.
That's the big difference
Yep.
because they're harder to locate and such, right? And they're moving
Yep.
very short windows, but they're
Yep.
moving in daylight. More
Right.
so, I believe mature bucks on public land move more in daylight in September than they do in November.
Yeah.
Actual mature bucks, I mean, there might be a day or two they move a lot in November,
Right.
but I think on a religious pattern, that September they move better in daylight than they do
Yeah.
later in the year. It's a short window and you got to get in there, but you have to have some knowledge of that deer or what's going on in order to kill them.
Yeah. They probably move more consistently every day. Whereas like in the rut,
Correct.
you may have more time that they're messing around in the daylight, but
And you got to
yeah,
have a
they're
plan. I mean, you think about it. If you went off nilly trying to find those deer,
mhm.
you got to hit that spot without spooking that deer, find the right tree, and hunt it. It's pretty tough But
Yeah.
if you've already seen that spot, you've walked through there in the winter and you've seen where he was in spring and stuff, and you can differentiate um, September bedding and September travel and September food from later in the fall, and you can set up on that, but stay out of there till kill day. That's what kills them. You know,
Yeah.
where most people are going to be so tempted to go in there and throw a camera in or do this or do that or, you know, tweak the stand, make sure there ain't something in their way. And every time you walk in there, it's like a death punch, which
Yep.
again, everything's right here in the writing, reverts right back to that top thing of first time sits.
If you want to watch another video, click right here. But don't forget to subscribe before you leave.